Hi everybody, Morgana Galaxia here. Welcome back to my channel. So today is January 6th, 1 year anniversary of the insurrection. So I wanted to come on today, do something a little different because it's this anniversary and we're all in remembrance of what happened a year ago. I kind of wanted to look at some of the key concepts, the problems, the things in this country that led to the insurrection. So I don't know how many I can cover today, but I feel like there's some very specific qualities, some very specific situations that led to where we are today. One of them is racism. I want to take a look at how racism might play out for, say, the next 5 to 10 years. I've covered voting rights a lot, so I'll do that really quickly as well. Disinformation, this issue of justice. There's big corporations, the issue of truth versus lies. So there's a lot of stuff, right, that led to where we are today. And, how the country grapples with these things and changes because of them is kind of what I want to look at today. So I think the first thing, just to get it out of the way, I'll do just a really quick read on voting rights, because I really believe that if we don't get voting straightened out, everything else is moot. Democrats won't be able to win power because of cheating. There's a lot of laws on the books or trying to be on the books now in the last year. So voting rights. So yeah, I'm definitely starting to think down into those individual state houses where they're trying to find a way where partisan vote counters can count the vote and have the ability to toss out votes or to decertify or to just not accept the vote count, right? This is going on in state after state after state. So it's happening on a federal level with voting rights not passing through the House and Senate, but on a local level as well. So voting rights is so important. We need to get a federal system in place across the board that ensures accuracy and fairness. Okay. So part of that too is the electoral college. Okay, so let's just do a quick see on voting rights. So I'm looking at voting rights in this country over the next 5 years. Here we are. I'm just gonna do quick reads on these. We're starting off with the page Pentacles. So we know this is a serious issue. There's legislation waiting on the floor to be tackled. We also know there's lots of legislation coming down in different states. But this tells me that effort is being made towards voting rights. Effort is being made to craft better legislation to tighten up voting so that it's fair and equally applied and nonpartisan. So yes, there's a program, a package, a plan that is in hand. It's a voting rights bill, right? We need it to get passed. It's not passed yet. We're waiting on it. That's why it's this page. It's still unfinished. It's still in communication. It's still going through its process. It's not a done deal yet. The challenge is the Four of Wands. So this is a foundation of the family. The Four of Wands is, that family structure, the foundation of your family. How that would be a challenge to voting rights. Well, a couple things come to mind. First of all, it's every American, right? Every family, every American who deserves their fundamental right to vote. So this does impact families, in that we all need to sort of vote for our own self-determination. But I think I'm going to go more as far as a challenge. Four of Wands has to do with structure, a firm foundation that's already in place. So I think where I'm going with this is the challenge to voting rights is there's already entrenched beliefs and entrenched ideas and entrenched laws that are going to be really rigid and really hard to break and really hard to change. So there's a lot of people out there, a lot of Americans out there, a lot of, everyday mom and pops that aren't sure if voting rights maybe really needs to be changed. They don't know if they want to. I think there's a lot of fear, right? There's fear about, I don't know, giving felons the right to vote, or people of color having a better voting turnout than them. They're not sure how the laws are going to change, how it's going to impact their lives. But I think it's the rigid structures of the voting, our voting system as it is, that's just really going to be difficult to crack. It's going to be difficult to change, difficult to dismantle. So that's where I'm going with the challenge to voting rights is that, we've got a rigid system in place that's not wanting to be changed. The outcome, I've got the Hanging Man. So to me, this means that there's going to be delay. There's going to be delay. Now, this could be a good portent in that this means that people are going to be buckling down, taking a step back. There is delay here. There is stagnation here, but it could also be thinking things through, trying to figure out strategy, trying to figure out the best way to get this done, trying to figure out what the best version of our laws could be, rewriting the bill, or just crafting it, working on it in a way that makes it more palatable. But in the end, the feeling with the result on voting rights is there's a delay, there's a hang up about that. So that's really unfortunate. We really need to get this passed if we want the kind of country that we want to have. Okay, so that is voting rights. Voting rights very much has to do with racism, right? It's that sort of deep South that just wants to suppress the vote, wants to limit the vote, wants to, redistrict in ways that benefits the white population, kind of chopping and hacking at the black and brown voting blocks, just diluting that vote, just gerrymandering, right? All the stuff that's going on has to do with, sorry you guys, but it has to do with trying to discount and reduce the impact of black and brown votes, liberal votes, Democratic votes, right? It's all about keeping the GOP in power, no matter what, no matter who votes for what, thwarting the will of the people, okay? To make sure that they have a permanent majority, regardless of the fact that they are a minority. The GOP is a minority in this country. So, racism. Okay, if this is the original sin, right? The driver behind so much of this corruption and hatred and bigotry, racism in our country is still here because we just haven't wanted to face the fact of it. And we really shouldn't have had to. If politicians worked for the benefit of the American people, this should have kind of gone the way after the Jim Crow laws were established. We could be so much more ahead of the game when it comes to equality, loving each other, not feeling that one group is above or below the other, not having these stereotypes or blaming this group or blaming that group, or they're going to get my jobs, and the welfare accusation, just the whole thing. Just like Joe Manchin, right? He doesn't want to continue with the child care credit because people are going to go buy drugs. Okay, that's a racist statement. He's not talking about white people, okay? He don't want to give money to black and brown people because they're going to run out and buy drugs. Completely effing racist. And this is the kind of thing that we need to root out. Okay, so I'm just talking my way into this energy, you guys. I want to look at racism in the U.S. Are we ever going to face it? Are we ever going to start to heal from it? Are we ever going to learn from it? Can we become more mature and grow as a nation and become more cosmopolitan, more international, you know, with regards to race? Okay. Race in America. What's it going to be looking like? We're starting off with the Ace of Wands, okay? There's a lot of work to do. It's a big job. It's a huge job. It's a huge undertaking. It's something that we need boots on the ground, right? We need every single person to represent, to come out and be a part of the solution. It's a huge job, and you know, it's one that needs inspiration. It needs passion. It needs drive. It needs courage. It needs fire to move this forward. So, you know, racism, this card tells us both sides of the story, not just of all the work that we all need to do to contribute to the solution, but it also kind of shows you a little bit about the causes, right? It's like wielding that club, banging someone over the head, or shooting them with a laser beam. In other words, you can attack someone with this wand. You can club them with it. You can set them on fire. You can dominate, okay? The hands can grab this wand and dominate others. So there's power here, power that we each hold in our hand. And we each have to make our own decision about where we stand on this, how we feel about other people, the kind of people that we want to be. But it's something we have to do together. It's a huge job that we each have to do together. And it's calling again for the passion, the courage, and the hope, and just the fire energy to get this job done. But, you know, fire against fire, right? It's a difficult challenge. So the challenge, 10 of Wands, okay? The challenge to racism in America, so many burdens, so much history, so much cruelty, so much hopelessness, right? This has been going on in our country since its founding. We've tried as a country several times to address it, to right it. You know, this is what we fought the Civil War, to end slavery and to free people. This is why we went through Jim Crow for equality and equal opportunity and equal justice under law. So we've made these tremendous efforts, but our burden is heavy. There is a lot of unjustness that still needs to be carried and move forward. And there's a lot for us to heal from. There's a lot of healing that we need to do. There's a lot of burdens that are on too many Americans' backs, okay? If it's very easy to not see racism in your everyday life if you're not a black or brown person, but just ask one. They all have stories. You know, they all have stories, even now in this day and age, 2022. So the solution is a 2 of Wands. We got to take another path. You know, we've got to choose the path of the light. There's darkness, there's the light. There's a path of glory, the path of shadow. We each have to walk in the path of the light. We each have that choice to make. It's interesting, you know, racism is a national scourge. You know, it's something that harms a nation. It's something that will keep us all down, we'll never be as prosperous and successful as a country as we could be until all of our people have, you know, the same kind of access and resources and support, et cetera, et cetera. But really it comes down to every single person. What kind of human being do you want to be? You know, when you meet another person, don't you give them a chance as who they are as an individual and not just automatically go to their race? We each have a path to choose, the high or the low path. All right, it comes down to every single one of us. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for racism in America. There's no card there about it going away and disappearing. It's something we each have to do every day with our hearts. With our hearts. We need to take that high path, take the high road, each one of us. Okay. So that, to me, segues very nicely into this concept of justice, especially with January 6th. So Merrick Garland, as you know, came out yesterday, gave his speech. It wasn't a bad speech. I was disappointed. I didn't hear some of the things I was hoping to hear. He did say, the most important things. But, if you ever hear a politician talk about or answer questions about justice, they're all gung-ho. Oh, justice, no healing without justice. No deterrence without justice. We'll never move on without justice. Well, TikTok mofos, where's justice? So how is justice going to play out in the U.S. over the next, say, 5 years? And I'm, specifically thinking about this coup attempt with its accompanying insurrection, this coup attempt, and justice. And so for me, Garland's talking about all these people got arrested, right? All the people who went down to the Capitol and stormed in. But, that's great that you're prosecuting them, but what about Holly? What about Ted Cruz? What about Donald Trump? What about the kids? What about Mo Brooks, right? Giuliani? All of those people who stoked the flames of hatred and lying and the whole election fraud, right? All of these people, before a vote was even cast, who was fomenting this violence. That's the justice I'm looking for. That's the justice I'm asking about right now. So what is that justice looking like over the next 5 years? Whew. Okay, we're going to start off with a Three of Swords. So this is, this is all the negative emotional garbage that came with this insurrection. We've all been betrayed. We're angry. People are partisan, taking sides, hating their neighbors, arguing with family. People have lost friends. People have lost family members. People have lost their minds going into conspiracy and the QAnon thing and believing lies. People have been hoodwinked, lied to, right? This is a national tragedy. Because not only of the injustice of it all, but just what it's done to our country and our people. So we're all feeling it. Dagger in the heart, you guys, right? January 6th, what happened to our country? What's going on? These people are plotting a coup. And yeah, national tragedy. All right. So the challenge, here we have the Knight of Pentacles. So the challenge is that the process is slow. Okay, the knight is on his way. He's coming to the rescue, but he's slow. He's taking his time. He's being careful. So this would be like Merrick Garland, right? We have a sense of urgency. This knight doesn't have a sense of urgency. He's taking his time. Yeah, he might be dotting his I's and crossing his T's to make sure everything gets done correctly for the best chance of success. But there's a very real time element to this. If they don't get voting rights passed, or they don't remove some of these traitors from their offices, if they don't figure some of this out before the next election and Democrats lose one or both of those houses, all bets are off, you guys, on our democracy. So this is telling us a challenge here is that the process isn't happening as fast as we need it to save our democracy. The end, so the end result is the Five of Pentacles. And this is So the end result for Justice is there's going to be people. So, you know, it's a card of loss. It's not telling me who's lost, though. So this means, you know, you've lost it all. Financial destitution, you're morally bankrupt, like you're tossed out of the church, you're tossed out of the job, you're tossed out of the institution here. You're out here in the cold, broke, poor, you done lost it all. So, who though? Is this the coup plotters, or is this the American electorate? So I'm going to draw one clarifier card. 4 of Pentacles and the High Priestess. So for Justice, yeah, we're all feeling betrayed, attacked, directly harmed by this. Yeah, the wheel's rolling, but it's rolling too slow. And here we are with loss out in the cold, not being able to take your part in the community. You know, there's a part of me that wants to say, okay, yeah, this is the likes of Ted Cruz and Mo Brooks and Jim Jordan, right? Being tossed out of Congress, out in the cold, complete loss. That would be amazing. My clarifier with the 4 of Pentacles talks about hunkering down, conserving your resources, making smart decisions. And we end up with the High Priestess, which is hidden agendas, secrets, figuring out what secrets come out, what secrets stay hidden. So, come on, cards. What is the result of Justice? Okay, I'm going to end it here with the 9 of Wands. I feel that we are not going to be happy. I feel like that as an electorate, because I'm asking about justice for the country, right? So as a country, I feel like we're being kind of brought down to one knee. We're feeling attacked. We're feeling overwhelmed. We might have some wins. There might be some success here. So we might be taking some people out. There might be some arrests. There might be some movement there. But all in all, in the end, we're gonna feel it's gonna be incomplete. We're not gonna feel like we've healed and resolved everything and everything's better and we fixed all the problems. No, we're at the end of this, there's still gonna be more work to do. There's still more battles to fight. So hopefully that just means that the slow process is just really slow and it'll take a long time. So much time that people are aggrieved and almost kind of hopeless. But the other side of this, you know, it could be that these people do get tossed. These people could get tossed out. So if we have this 5 of Pentacles and we're reducing down to 4 of Pentacles and hunkering down, that is a reduction here. So out of, you know, however many sitting reps and senators there are, they're going to kind of tighten ship, you know, hunker down, get their best coins together, get their best reps together, might be kind of shed some of those bad people. But there's still some shadow work. There's still people behind the scenes. There's still people with secrets. So they're not going to get everybody. And there's just always going to be more work to do. So at best, justice will be partial. That's kind of how I see it. At best, it'll be incomplete. It'll be partial. There's still going to be secrets, stuff we don't know. Maybe they will be able to toss some people out in the cold. But will it be everybody? Will it be enough? We'll have to, look at that again. Okay. So one of the big engines behind this whole situation is disinformation, the lying. But not just the lies that come out of Trump's mouth, the lies that came out of all of the politicians' mouths, all of the GOP's mouths, and also all that false disinfo that appears right on Facebook and Twitter and Parler and all their little alt-right platforms, where they just soak up all that information day after day, and it's all lies. So we see Facebook being, they're trying to hold Facebook to account for this is the argument, right? Do these platforms control their own content, or should they be allowing a free-for-all and free speech? And if they do monitor content, it's going to kind of be on them to decide who gets to say what and who gets censored. And, it's a slippery slope, and I get it. But it's turning out that this is a big enough issue, an important enough issue, that it's going to have to be addressed, because this is the marketplace of ideas that we're talking about here. And the only way the marketplace of ideas work is if people are honest. When you're looking and you're shopping for your beliefs and the things you want to believe in and your opinions, you should be able to pick from honest and truthful information. So I want to just look at this idea of disinformation, propaganda, that has really just been, we're drowning in it. We're drowning in it right now. And it's just no holds barred. It's like the Wild West, Nobody knows how to fix it. People are so mad at each other that people are putting this garbage online, and then we figure out it was bots and it was Russians and these troll farms. There's just a lot of technology in this issue of disinfo. So let's take a look at disinfo. How's the nation going to be handling this over the next few years? Okay, so we're starting off with the Magician. This is a great card to represent propaganda, disinfo. This, the shadow side of this card is manipulation, okay? Trying to make magic happen. Smoke screens, saying the sky is green when the sky is blue, trying to create something out of nothing, stories out of nothing, just the false stories, the false lies, the propaganda. This is all what the Magician does, just weaving that web of lies and deceit and illusion. It's a great card for what I'm asking about here, disinfo. The challenge. Interesting. Here's a challenge, the Nine of Cups. Okay, so my first thought with this card with the Nine of Cups is one of the challenges to this issue of propaganda, disinformation, is big money, you guys. Big money. This is, it is cups and not coins, but this talks about affluence. Having everything you need. I just get the sense of those with deep pockets, with big money, can afford to manipulate the technology, pay troll farms, pay, these disinfo agents to kind of craft the content that gets splattered everywhere. And just these lies, for example, like Trump, right? He's just spewing all these crappy lies because he can, because he has the power to do so. People follow him because he's got power, he's got money, whatever. Excuse me, you might hear my cat meow, and she's like 2 inches away from this card. So the other sense that I'm getting is to the challenge to fixing this disinfo problem is there's just so many opinions out there, okay? There's so many people who believe so many different things, so many different ideologies, so many versions of all these stories. It's hard to know what's true and what's a lie. It's the volume. Part of it is just the volume of content that we have access to now through social media. There used to be a time you turn on the TV, you got 4 channels, 2 channels. That was way back in the day, right? And then we had the networks. And then came cable. And so with every generation, the volume of content that's out there just grows exponentially, as well as the population. There's so many more people out there from all these walks of life, all these different parts of the country, with all these different religious beliefs and ideologies and political beliefs, right? Everyone's got their 2 cents. And this is a part of the problem because, I think here in America, we have this tradition where it's like to each their own, right? Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Everyone's entitled to their 2 cents. Everyone, has a voice. We want to hear everybody's voice. Everyone should contribute. Well, if some of these people are just full of lies and trash and garbage, and there's too much of it for us to track and get rid of, and the laws aren't in place for us to do that, it's like an overwhelming problem, this overwhelming amount of information and feelings and ideologies and opinions and just, too much. Okay, the result here is 6 of Wands, which is a victory. So this tells me that we will be able to get a handle on this disinformation in one way or another. So whatever we're doing right now is putting us in the right direction. So the hearings that Facebook is going through, the pressure that they and Twitter get to ban people, the like that Cambridge Analytica scandal that came out where, we're kind of having to now dig deep into who are these people? We think they're people and they turn out to be trolls, right? And bots and all this kind of thing. And we're learning how to deal with this. And I guess our approach is going to lead us into direction. At some point, there's going to be victory there. So we will be able to maybe not eliminate it, but control it, reduce it, maybe put some laws in place where it doesn't quite harm the nation as much as it does right now. Okay, I'm getting over half an hour. I do want to look at one more thing, and that's big corporations, okay? So that suit that basically gave businesses and corporations the equivalent status of being a person, and now they have all their First Amendment rights just like a person, and they have all the rights of people. They don't have the consequences that people have to suffer. If they break the law, they get a little fine that's easy for them to pay. They keep doing it again. Or that there's just no repercussions, right? There's no justice, but there's no regulation that's really making these corporations operate for the betterment of the nation, for the good of the people, for the benefit of their employees, right? It's all about profit, greed, expansion, growth, getting bigger. It's all at the expense of the consumer and the taxpayer. Just the crushing of small businesses, the consolidation of all these companies, just trying to strangle competition. The attacking of our unions, trying to take away people's rights to, fight for a good working environment and a good salary and good benefits and etc. So big corporations, they've done a lot of damage, or a big part of the problem, in that they also create the elite class, right? They're creating that 1%, 99%. It's these big CEOs, right? It's the big power players. It's, the big oil men, the big tax men, the big bankers. It's these people with a lot of money, big business, mega corporations, okay? The ones that want to play above sovereign nations, the ones that don't want to belong to any country because they want to be able to sort of operate however they want, not be beholden to anybody's laws, this kind of thing, right? Sort of, you know, I'm not saying I'm an enemy of globalization here, but this is a part of it, of nations and peoples losing their powers against big corporate entities. Okay, so what is this big corporation issue going to look like? How is the United States going to handle this over the next 5 years? Okay. Okay, here we are with the Empress. Just one moment. So here we are with the Empress. This is about growth, opportunity, abundance, but in a way that benefits the nation. This is bounty, opportunity, abundance, okay, for everybody across the board. So not the big corp, but I see this as for Americans, for all of us. You know, there's enough to go around for everybody, you guys. The challenge with the Nine of Wands is there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of laws that needed to be dismantled, a lot of injustices that need to be fixed. It's not a level playing field, and so there's a lot of battles that are going to need to be fought here, and it's going to be tough. And this card is saying, you know, you might accomplish a lot, but maybe not everything. There's just a lot of work to do, and it's going to be overwhelming. The end result with the Three of Pentacles, this is telling me that I think that there is going to be a group of experts who are going to come together in cooperation with each other to craft a new kind of structure, craft another way of doing business. So this is about cooperation, expertise. So I see this as small business. You know, that mom and pop shop, the small business that drives America. There's going to be a lot of work being put into place to grow that, to sort of move back into that kind of economy where every American, every person has the ability to try to follow their own dreams, do their own work, follow their talents, use their skills in order to build their own lives, build their own businesses. So yeah, I feel like as far as the big corps go, yeah, the desire is there for all Americans to enjoy the bounty of our nation. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of work, a lot of people and laws and groups and things that need to be taken down. But there are people at work trying to make that happen. Okay, it is getting to be a little long, so I'm going to leave it there today, everybody. So I'm, you know, don't know what to say. It's a terrible anniversary. I'm glad the day's almost over. We'll move on tomorrow into a new year, and just hope you're all doing okay out there, and that we'll all come through it together. And a year from now, we're going to be in a lot better place, all right? Take care, everybody. Bye.